All right. Thanks for joining us. My name is Will Bingham. We're doing a special episode with a special guest. This is a one-time only thing. His name is Connor. So this is him right here. I just got promoted with Performance Windows, but we want to share his journey from, start to finish and dive right in. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So Connor, how did you get into Performance Windows? What was it like when you started? And just take us back to the beginning, like your first thoughts.
Yeah, it's great to be here too. This is pretty cool that we're doing this too. It's so I had started with Performance Windows June of 2025. It was June 6th. And before that, I've been in sales for pretty much my whole adult life. I started doing door-to-door sales when I was 18. I moved out to California, started doing solar for that, and learned a ton throughout that. And then one of my friends that I was in solar with was Casey Connell, who's in Colorado Springs now.
Shout out to Casey.
Yeah, he's a market owner, Colorado Springs. So I ended up meeting him at a gas station. So backing up a little bit, when I was in solar, I, worked at the company that we were at for probably about 4 or 5 years. So it was a long time that I was in there, in California in the trenches. Got burnt out. It was just kind of like the monotony. There was no real progression to where I wanted to be. So I ended up burning out through that, which is a big risk, when you're doing door-to-door sales. So when I ended up moving to Colorado for about 8 or 9 months, and over there I started my own window cleaning thing because I was unofficially just retired from doing any work for a good year and a half. That's how good solar was to me.
Nice.
And then traveled the world, went to 14 different countries.
14.
Span of a year and a half.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Ended up going. First country I went to out of the United States was Africa. It was Tanzania in Africa, the country. Okay. And then did a bunch of those, but when I got back, I had a girlfriend now, and I was, starting to settle down and, do all that. So I was like, well, I need to, make some money again. So I started doing window cleaning door to door. So I started my own thing, and because I liked door to door. That's really all I knew. So I knew that I had to be in that same space. And at that point, it was when window cleaning Instagram reels were at the peak. So you'd scroll on Instagram for 5 minutes, you'd get a window cleaning pitch or something like that. So I was like, I'll give it a try. Ended up doing
quick price.
Yeah, yep. Ended up doing pretty good. And so I was doing that. And then one day I saw Casey at a gas station. I was in between my window cleaning jobs, and I was getting energy drink or something. And I hear him say my name, and I turn around. I'm like, what is this? Who's this? And I just see his big blue Range Rover in the gas station.
Yeah, you can't miss it. Can't miss that blue Range Rover.
That's the bright blue, baby blue Range. And I hadn't seen him in a while. I mean, we talked over here and then, went to the Super Bowl party at his house, but I hadn't seen him in a minute. And a few days before that, I had finally posted on my Instagram, this is what I'm doing, window cleaning, showing my successes. It was Don's Home Services. Instagram's still up. And he had swiped up and he just planted a seed. He was like, hey man, yeah, I'm doing, replacement windows out here in Colorado too. And actually, another buddy from solar had said the same thing. He was in Colorado Springs. So those were both maybe a week before I had met Casey at the gas station. And they had both said doing replacement windows. This is the first guy was this is the greatest thing ever. I'm closing a bunch. I've done over $1 million in sales. It was June at that point. He's I did over $1 million in sales this year so far. You got to come check it out. And it was kind of just I was like, dude, I'm done with that whole sort of thing. But Casey's was real, just nonchalant. He was like, dude, that's awesome. I'm actually in,
chill. Yeah, it's chill.
I'm in Colorado that's doing the same thing, replacing windows. And I told both of them the same thing. I was like, maybe I'll, give that a try during the winter time, which is right around now, February 2026. And then when I saw him at the gas station, then a week later, he had, shown me, he was like, dude, this is what I did last month. It was 390.
Yeah, $395K.
Yep, broke the setter revenue record. Showed me the commissions he was making on all that.
I closed it for him. I closed those deals, by the way. Anyway.
And then, so when he showed me that, I was fully sold. I was like, all right, I'll come in next week. So I was going to visit my family in Arizona. He gave me the script 3 days in advance. I learned it literally on the plane ride, on the way back from Arizona to Colorado. Then I had that night to learn it. Then I went into the office the next day. Rest was history. But went into the office June 6th. First, full week was maybe a week after that because I still had window cleaning jobs.
I remember that. People were still calling you. You're like, I'm making so much money now. You just got to give up on it.
Yeah. For those first few days, I was still doing that. So I told Josh even, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll do it, 3 days out of the week, 4 days out of the week. And then first day, go out, get my first same day sale.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, that's
You start getting a taste, it's hard to go back. And so let's start like at the beginning there. So like when I started, like I didn't even know who you were. Like I think I closed like 3 deals for you. Like I was having a baby at the time. I come back and I closed 3 deals. I'd never even met you. I was like, who is this Connor guy? Like literally, like because we always had like a 9:30 appointment because we were doing so much volume with the back-to-back $1 million months that I was doing. And then I was like, I didn't even meet him till like a week in, and like 3 deals closed or something. I was like, oh, that's who you are. And then there you were.
Yeah.
So you're one of the, like, I think to my knowledge, you're the fastest person ever to qualify to get the closer. I know there might be some people listening that, you know, are setters with performance windows or looking around thinking about it. So we have a really fast progression. I liked what you said. It's like, you know, there wasn't really progression for you in solar. You're just kind of doing the same thing over and over. Whereas here you're progressing. You've only been here 9 months, already got to market owner. We're going to go dive into that. But you're the fastest person to ever get to closer to my knowledge. I did it in like 4 weeks. I think you did it in 3, something like that. I was in the winter, you in the summer, but you still got it.
And I had closing my deals.
I did. I did. Yeah. But so how did you do it? Like, how did you do that?
I think a big part of it was like just Casey bringing me in and like setting the tone of, well, first, like my first day, you were like having Brooke, your baby.
My baby. First baby.
And,
shout out Brooke.
and, so you were like a mythical creature to me too. He's like, dude, Will is like the best salesperson I've ever seen. And I'm like, okay, I don't see Will on here. I only see 2 other names. Like, whatever. But so when I came in, he obviously qualified in like his first month and a half.
Yep.
And so what he was telling me, qualification is you get 8 deals in a month, 2 months in a row, and you can also break that up into 30 days. So you get 16 and 30 days, and as long as it's 16 over the course of 60 days, you qualify
double qualify,
to closer. And so he did that in less than 2 months. So when he brought me in, he was telling me this is like so easy, just like follow the script. It's like these people want windows, and it's just a matter of like talking to people and like finding the people that do. And I already obviously had sales experience too, so it was something where I was like, cool, there's like a script in place. I don't have to like go around guessing what to say or like come up with a whole new thing. So all I would do was go out there, say the script 100% to the best of my ability, and then just have fun out there. And it was literally just like, that is the main difference, because there's a lot of guys that I'm not like better than at like pitching when I first started, especially. But it's just having the belief in yourself that like these people are out here. Because then when I would go out first day, get my first sale, that was the what's the right word for it? That was like the proof.
Yeah, the linchpin that everything.
So I was like, cool, first deal, like this is gonna be like stupidly easy. And then I took a couple days off to do my window cleaning stuff, and that's all I was thinking about was the window.
Yeah, you probably could have done it in 2 weeks. You're taking like days off here. Days off. Like, where's Connor? Like, get him back here. What are you doing? And then
so when I came back, I got one more deal. That was even more proof, because I was like, it wasn't just like a one-off thing.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just started. I had a whole system going where I would, be Monday, Tuesday. I'd probably take one of those days off to like do other things, but it would be earlier in the week would be, I'd have a certain flow where I'd maybe get like 1 or 2 sales. I'd get like a few appointments a day. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday would be like the peak where I'd get multiple appointments every single day. And then there were some days where, there was multiple closers closing my deals at the same time, where you were closing 3 of mine in a day.
Yeah, we did that a couple times, I think, couple hat tricks.
It was every single week was, I was getting 5 or 6 sales.
Yeah.
And then on the board, like on the big whiteboard, it was, less than 4 sales a month, and you're either getting fired or you're
then we had that on the board in Denver. Yeah, less than 4 sales, you're fired. Yeah,
and
that's simple.
Because I was just like, well, I mean, it like literally should be impossible to get less than 4 sales. Like if I'm out here getting like 5 or 6,
you'll stumble into them.
Yeah, and it would be. It's not like the boards were full all day. It would be, you go out there with nothing on the board, you end up with 3 sales on the day, and it was that was truly like, I was like, this is like the vehicle to be in, because I wasn't doing anything different than like anybody else. I was literally just following what Josh was saying, what you were saying. I didn't even meet you until like a weekend.
Yeah, we'd already closed 3 deals, I think, at least.
Yeah. And from there, got promoted to closer. And then at that point, it was...
let's talk about the journey to closer. Or real quick, before we go there, was there any like struggle? Because I know it's like, was there any like dark moments where you had to second guess yourself, or you're just like, you were going to get it the whole time, just out of curiosity, like in that journey from, because I know you were like leaving the window thing behind, or do you have any like like dark days on the doors? Because I know a lot of times, it's not all sunshine and rainbows on door to door. I'm sure people that have done it are realizing that by now. But is there any like moments just as a setter that you had moments of doubt or anything like that you want to share that you overcame?
Yeah, there was some times where, it'd be like a couple days stretch where there was the first time I bageled. Really.
Oh my God, you bageled.
I bageled once.
Shame.
It was like I was like a month in, and or it was like maybe like 2 weeks in, and the day before I'd gotten 7 appointments. I'd gotten 7 sets, and like 4 of them fell off. Then the rest of them were one-leggers that didn't end up closing. They weren't qualified appointments.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, like I remember Josh was even like, you got 7 appointments, get up and ring the gong. And I was like,
oh yeah, he was doing that for a while. Even when people weren't even getting sales, he was like, ring the gong for
I rang the gong without
deals.
getting a sale, and it was really embarrassing because none of them closed. So I was like, I don't want to feel that way. So then the next day after that, I kind of changed my standards around and ended up bageling. So I got 0 appointments on the entire day. It was the first time I bageled, and it was not really like a super dark day. It was more just like, shoot, like, that sucks. I can't do that again. Next day, I would have bageled again too, but I ended up getting a call back from the guy that I left a card to. It's like one of the only cards I've ever left out.
Yeah.
And he ended up texting me back, ended up closing.
Nice.
But other than that, no, it's like
you did it so fast. It was like a blink
it
of
wasn't
an
really
eye.
there wasn't any
3 weeks is like
there wasn't any room to have dark days. It's not like I was knocking for like a year. But that's when Garrett's like it was maybe like my 3rd or 4th day. Garrett came in.
Yeah.
And I was
Regional.
always at
Shout out Garrett.
Yep, I was always at the office early, like before closers.
I did meet you. That's when I met you. It was like during the closer meeting. I was like, oh yeah, what's up? Like,
I was like sitting out of the room. You guys were all in the room, but I'd get there like 8:30 every day. Garrett came in one time and he told me that the key is to condense every time frame like as small as possible. So you want to get to closer as fast as possible, market owner as fast as possible, regional as fast as possible. And I took that to heart. I was like, well, shoot, if I know that because I'd heard stories about, some guys, they get complacent, they get stuck in like the monotony of doing the job to where they end up never qualifying and they're just kind of doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
That's not who I am as a person either. So I knew that was never going to happen to me, but I also didn't want it to take, because Casey was also closing. So I wanted to beat him because me and Casey were
you got the closer basically
like
right
that.
like you were one of his first 2 recruits to get to closer and stuff like that, and that ended up closing all your deals before he actually got live, which is great. So well, let's go into the closer journey. And with the dark moments, like I usually only have like dark moments but never like dark days and stuff like that, but that is a great story about the bagel, because you usually did set quality appointments. Like you didn't have like a crazy amount of appointments, but the ones you did set were quality. Like I could set like a crazy amount, but then less quality, but yours were always quality. So I'll give you that. So let's talk about, you made it to closer. How was that journey for you? You get the script, and I know there was a little bit like, I don't know if there was like, just explain your journey as you get the closer script, like what happened?
Yeah. Well, for people that are like knocking that, are wondering what it's like to be a closer and like going through that transition from knocking to closing your own deals and closing others' deals. You get the script, you learn the script just like how you learn the knocker script, by repetition, learning all the things there is to know about it. When I did that, then all of this new information was coming into me, and I'm a pretty curious person just by nature too. So
nice.
When I was doing this, I was wanting to learn more about Windows, but when I was knocking, it was literally like I would ask Casey a question, he'd be like, dude, you don't need to know that. I don't even know that. It doesn't matter.
It's a great question for my specialist.
Exactly, because you don't need to know anything. The script is in a certain way to where you're delivering all the information you need to on the door in order to set in a qualified appointment for a closer to come in and close it. That's when you give them more information. But I was mixing all of that, so I ended up making it a little bit more complicated than I should have. I started wanting to answer questions on the door. And then big thing was I started having lower quality standards for myself. So when I was setting for you or for some of the other guys, I was really afraid of setting a bad appointment that would then waste your guys' time, and you'd call me, be upset, and then I'd be like, dang, I wasted his time. And I didn't want that to happen. So they were really high quality appointments. When it was myself, I was like, you know what, they asked me something, I'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
I'll be me going in there, I'll deal with it later. We'll, end up crossing that bridge when it comes. And that really bit me, like for the first good took me 2 months to get, or it took me a month and a half to get my 5 self sets.
Yeah, you and Casey were like right about the same time. Like you guys were getting them together. But yeah, it did take a little. That is a transition though for people because they start answering everything. Like, ask you something on the door. It's like, well, yeah, this, and then you answer real quick, and then you just kind of you don't set it up for yourself. Properly.
Yeah, exactly. It was, the standards were dropping. But once I realized that, fixed it immediately, and then that's when I started getting my self sets, started closing.
Yeah,
getting up on the leaderboard for first ups, regular leaderboard for the company.
Yeah, you really took off, I think, after those self sets, because I got to see your journey from start to finish, and then you like came in like guns blazing, like, whoa, you qualified faster than me. That's crazy. And then it was like a little like 6 week lag, and I was like, oh, he's slowing down. Bit. But then it was like, but then he turned it back up again as soon as you like got the confidence and
a little bit of a learning curve with most things.
Yeah. So I want to dial it back a little bit. So we'll go on to the journey in a second, but I know you have a lot of door-to-door experience. You have even more experience than I do. I think you said, 8 years or something. So what do you think, just out of curiosity, what do you think separates Performance Windows from all the other door-to-door companies that you work for? Because you've seen probably quite a few companies and been in and out of a lot of organizations. So like, what's different?
Well,
not
really. So I was never a company hopper. In solar, I joined a company called SunGrade when I was 18, and that was a huge leap. Met some of my best friends, my mentors, like still to this day, were from that company. And then from there, I was working there for about 6 or 7 months, around that range, and then they ended up, all the senior leadership from that company ended up starting their own. So they asked me to come.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
It was Better Earth at that point. Some people might have heard about that. It was a huge company in California, especially.
They were big.
When we started that, I say we, but I was boots on the ground. I wasn't involved in any.
You're there on the ground floor of Better Earth.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I didn't know that.
I remember when we were with, we had just gone to the Freedom headquarters. It was like the whole. It was like when we had first started Better Earth. We went to the Freedom headquarters, and there was maybe like 15 or 20 of us total.
Wow.
And so we started doing that, and then
that's impressive. Yeah.
That is when I was there from time I was 19 up until like 23 or 24.
Oh,
so that was me. I wasn't
rode
one
that
of the
wave
ones,
good. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't one of the ones that hopped around trying to find a different opportunity. The only reason I left that was because I was burnt out. I didn't enjoy the monotony of the whole thing. It's a great company, great people that are running it too, but it was just it wasn't really what I was looking for, and I ended up realizing that. Yeah,
it didn't have a lot of future play. Just kind of doing the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when I left that, that's when I started, looking at other things to do, and at that point, this was like beginning of last year, or maybe middle of 2024, whatever it was. But that was like insurance was like at the top of, that was like the wave that everybody was riding. So I tried that out.
People always riding that wave.
One of the guys that was in solar company did insurance. I tried it for a month, made like $8,000. It all got charged back the next month. And I was like, this stinks. I was like, this is not good. This is not fun. You paid for leads. I think I ended up losing like $3,000.
Oh yeah, the leads is like recycled down. Everybody's called them.
Yeah. So it's not fun. And then that's when I started doing window cleaning because I didn't want to work for somebody else. I wanted to do my own thing. I was like, cool. And that was actually going really good. I was making maybe like net after like materials and after like paying people for here and there things, maybe like it was like 10, 12 grand a month.
Yeah.
For that.
Not bad for a little one-man show or two-man or
exactly. And that was really, really taxing on like the body, like the mental. I also just knew, I was like, well, long-term aspect of this, like what am I gonna have to do with this? That's too much work that I want to put in. Like to build an actual company.
You don't have any
like
leverage.
Yeah. Exactly. So then when Casey reached out to me and then I met him, I was originally wanting to do this just to like make a little bit more money to be able to put into the window cleaning and like
nice. That's how people usually come in. They're like, I'm going to try this, do that. It's like, no, you don't understand.
But
like,
once
it's the golden goose right here.
Exactly. So once I came into it, it was made very clear to me early on that this is not like a typical sales organization where you just come in, set a bunch of, make a bunch of money and then what else? There's a clear path to be able to get to the point of market owner was like, I didn't even think I'd be able to get to market owner. I was like, that's so far out of my grasp right now that I don't even see me being there. That was like my first like week or so.
Yeah.
And then regional, of course, where those are the positions where you want to be in to be able, that's like, there's already a business built for you. Levi, Kyle, and all the guys on the ops team and that have started the company, they're already built a business for us to where now you can just plug in and it's really like you're just running a business that's already, all the hard stuff's done. You get
Yeah.
to do all the fun stuff.
No, 100%. Like I'll chime in real quick. But yeah, that's the one thing I noticed about performance windows myself, the advancement. Because when I came in, Garrett and Josh got promoted the same time I got promoted to closer. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Josh got promoted to the market owner. He, closed my deals. And then Garrett, who was my market owner, got promoted to regional, all within like a month, my first month. And like both of us haven't even been here a year yet. And I've already been market owner for 4 months. He's about to take over. We'll get into where here in a second. But so yeah, you were closing deals, you got first ups. What did you like about closer, or what did you like just anything else you got to say on closer before we move on to the next step? Or just in the Denver market?
Another thing too that I did like about performance was because you can see in solar and like all these other industries, you have people come in, new guys come in, and they're either doing well and they stay, or they fizzle, like they don't do well and they leave right away.
Yeah.
And it's really entirely up to like the person themselves, where, if they come in and they're like good, they can do good. If they're bad, they do bad. That's all the other companies. With performance, I've seen some guys that I really, from my stigma of like just knowing how door-to-door is in the past, like they'd come in, and I would even tell a few of them, like in the North Denver office, I'd be like, dude, if you were like, they were crushing it at this point. Like they were like crushing it, like qualifying months. And I'd be like, dude, like when I first saw you, like I would have thought you would have been like absolutely terrible, like being honest. Cause I'm pretty straightforward like that, especially with like some of the newer guys. But it was a compliment because they were doing really good. And they're doing really good because of because they have the systems in place that can let them get to that and let them develop themselves, and not just kind of come in, freestyle it, and then if they do good, awesome. If not, like see you later. It's like they come in and there's a specific regiment of like the hours, the script, the trainings, where you do all those things and you're good. Like you can be good for a long time. But what were we saying before?
So yeah, let's talk about just like the transition. So you did closer in Denver for a little bit, and then I got the opportunity to open the Columbus, Ohio market. So why don't we talk about like that situation if you want to share? Because you're my number two. You helped me open up the market, so we'll dive into that. But like, how did it go down? What were your thoughts, or just let's walk them through that. So we closed for the summer, and then we open up Ohio October 15th. But kind of how did it go down?
Yeah, well, we were in Denver, or we were in Fort Collins. Rather.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, we were in Fort Collins, and I remember Garrett calls me, and this is like back half of the day. I was like getting food or something. He calls me, and he presents the opportunity for me to go to Ohio. He's like, we're, Will's going to Ohio, start the market over there. We want you there to, help start that. And I told him I didn't want to any of those guys, you never want to beat around the bush. I didn't want to do that. And I didn't want to be like a homeowner saying, oh, think about it. So I told him straight up, I was like, man, I really appreciate you, thinking of me, considering me for that. Really means a lot. But no, like I'm not going to go to Ohio and do this. Like I love Denver. I'm doing good here. I'm not going to do that. He's like, okay, man. Yeah, just wanted to, let you know and wanted to see what you thought about it. And so then a couple weeks later goes by. I think he maybe had called me again at that point.
He definitely called you again.
Called me again. I was like, yeah, man, still no.
Still a hard no, yeah.
So then Levi comes to the office.
The owner of Performance Windows.
Yeah, the owner comes to the office, and he sold me again. He pretty much was just like, man.
It was a hard close. Yeah, it was
a hard close. You really wanted me. So he came, but no.
And we'd developed so many closers in Denver. I think we had like almost 10 or 9 or whatever the number was. And he's like, Levi's like, we got to get some closers out. And I was like, Connor's the best one. Like, I want Connor. I threw his name in the hat. But so you decided to come, and it paid off because now you're getting rewarded. But let's talk about Ohio, like coming in, like to people that are opening a new market. Like, what's it's like? We're going to a place or I haven't been before, and just like completely new team. But like, what was like the first impressions when you get here? What were some of the challenges of Ohio? Just talk about the experience of just opening up the market with me.
Well, it was really fun. I was, when we started in Ohio, like that very first day, I flew in like the day before. And we hadn't even had an office at that point. I think we did over $1 million without even having an office.
1.2 mil first 30 days, shout out. But
yeah. So go in, and it's like a bunch of guys
Airbnb,
from a couple different offices had all came in to join, and it was really cool seeing, because that was what I was familiar with in solar. Because we had like our headquarters offices, but for our teams, it would always be like we're in Airbnbs, we're doing meetings at the Airbnbs, we're doing Zoom calls, like meetings. It was a lot more like tight knit, not like everybody's, living at their own houses, meeting at the meetings, going out working, seeing each other the next day. So it was really like, boots on the ground, like in the trenches, like huddled up. And it was really cool because that's what I was familiar with too. And then seeing it too, and then the squad that we have in Ohio, it's really cool. And I learned a ton about, from you about what it's like starting that new market, and, finally got to see you actually running things and see how you do it, which I've learned a ton from too, because there's a nice contrast between, different leaders, and, you can pick up things from other people. But it was really cool. We did, my expectations here was like, these people don't even know. They've never heard of replacement windows before. When we get here, everybody's going to be saying yes. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's always easier than you think it is, or it's always harder than you think it is, rather.
Yeah. And when we first got here, it was like my first 2 days. I hadn't gotten any deals.
Oh God,
this
slow burn. Yeah.
I was like, so that was maybe like the first dark days. It was
2 days. 2 days of darkness, guys.
Like 2 days. And then third day, got my first self-set in Ohio. It was this guy's actually our first install too.
The
Ohio office.
Yeah.
So.
First 5-star review. Yeah.
Yep. First install, first 5-star review. So once that got under, then, everybody else is already, crushing it at this point too. So it was really cool to see, we did in the first quote unquote 30 days, 15 to 15 or 15 to 17 or whatever it was. Yeah, it was 1.2 million.
Yeah.
Which was really crushing it.
And then we went into Thanksgiving, Christmas, opening an office in the winter it's challenging. That was just challenging alone. We just had 16 inches of snow last week. It's negative degrees, all that stuff. Usually most markets are open in the spring, summer, stuff like that. But we were going into the winter.
Even at the conference, they were giving us our props. They were the same old times. Columbus is in negative, 22 degrees. They were exaggerating a little bit. But it was negatives.
Yeah. It's people always think you can't. Even I went to my trainer this morning in the gym. He's like, "Oh man, you guys still selling out there? It's too cold, man. It's too cold." I was like, "Dude, we're selling every day. We don't have those limiting beliefs and stuff like that." But then, we hit a bit of a snag, with the Thanksgiving, Christmas and stuff like that. But just powered through, man. Yeah. So let's move forward. So you came out here. You've been out here since we opened October 15th. It's February 4th as we're recording this right now. You're actually about to open up a new market to go back to where it all started, which I think if you didn't come out here, you probably wouldn't get that market. I think that's because you came out, you show you're a company man. If you're willing to move, you're willing to work, there's literally no limit to your opportunities here at Performance Windows. But you're taking over the North Denver office. So super excited. We know pretty much all those guys down there, which is nice. So
great market.
Already stacked too. Yeah. So hell yeah. So what are you excited about, or what's the next chapter for you?
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. Well, one of the things that we did when I first started in North Denver, as a knocker, was Josh had us write down our goals on a note card, and my goals were make closer in 30 days. It was to get a couple of guys out under my wing to show them how to do it, 2 recruits, and then to make market owner. Yeah. And those were kind of I was writing them out, and I was like, yeah, we'll see. Every single one of them came true now. Yeah. In 8 months. So I'm really excited to be able to go back there. That North Denver is the crown jewel of Performance Windows. It's created the most closers that have then became market owners, created the most regional directors throughout the whole thing. Yep. So
we both came up through them.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Pretty much anybody has at one point or another been through North Denver, whether it's, they recruited from somebody from North Denver. You can cut that out, whatever.
No, it's fine. Leave it in.
Yeah.
Keep it real here.
So really exciting because it's going to be, obviously it's, stacked already, but could also do better. A lot of the records that are set in the company are from North Denver. And one thing that was told to me when I got the call was big shoes to fill. Obviously, Josh is a great market owner. Garrett before him, great market owner. Both regionals now, and then Kaleo before him.
Yeah, he opened it originally.
Regional now.
Yeah.
Big shoes to fill, but it's not like a typical going out, starting a new office. The office is proven to produce, so it must produce.
Yeah.
And so
a little bit more. Do you feel more pressure on you a little bit?
Not really, because
maybe
a tad more. I think a little bit more pressure, but not in the same way as if you were going to a new market. Yeah. So I know that if I go in there,
different animal.
Sure. I know that I go in there with the squad that we have now, and then continue to build that. We can break those records that are already in there, that have already been set by you and by some of the other guys that are from there.
Still on the board, guys. Still on the board. Yep. Erase me off there. So,
and then also just giving it my all, being in a place where I can focus purely on the things that I have to focus on, because it is a lot different of a situation than going to open a brand new market like you did Columbus.
Yeah.
But I'll still be able to take a lot of the things that I've seen you do here, bring them back to Denver to be able to take it to the next level.
Nice. So I know you said you accomplished all your goals that you wrote down, the closer, market owner. Now that you've, what was better for you? Was it closer or was it market owner when you got the call? Like, just out of curiosity, did one feel better than the other?
Definitely market owner.
Yeah. Same for me too. Because when you get closer so quick, it's like, but if you take a while to get closer, I can imagine it's like, oh, thank God. But
exactly.
Market owner is kind of outside of your control somewhat. So that's why it was better for me as well. When I got the call, you're like, oh yeah, hell yeah.
Exactly. And that's what's cool about it, is like you always have something to work forward to. Like if somebody's end goal is to be a closer, you can still obviously make a ton of money while doing that.
Literally, yeah.
And that is where you can end up. If you end up there, like I saw one of the podcasts that like Garrett did with, I think it maybe was, I forgot who it was with, but they said like knocker is good money, closer is life-changing money, and then market owner is like generational wealth type money.
Yeah.
It's something along those lines.
There's a reason why we're doing it for sure.
Yeah. So even being a closer is like still like,
that's great.
It's probably the best job in door-to-door you can have. Being
Straight
a closer,
up.
like for performance windows, because of everything that's in place in order to
I agree.
everybody be successful. But market owner is definitely better call to get, because it's more responsibilities. More responsibilities is just a little bit more fulfilling.
Yeah.
In general. So really excited.
So what are your next goals? I think I might have just asked this, but like what are like the next goals for you? I know you maybe just make one on the spot now that you've got the market owner. Is there anything that you want to like accomplish, like just that comes to mind?
Well, the goals,
initially?
the goals that I've kind of set out to the targets for myself that I want to hit before the end of the year, and even like before summer ends, especially, is I want to do $2 million a month, which is
the
crazy.
elusive. We almost got it that 1 month in Denver.
Yep.
Almost.
That was
almost.
Yeah, so close, but $2 million a month. I want to have 75% retention rate on everybody that's coming in. Because no matter what, with door to door, you're gonna get people coming in, and no matter what, there's gonna be people that end up it's not for them. They end up not liking it, or they just don't, have what it takes to do it. It's a hard job. It's like one of the hardest jobs you can have. That's why it pays so well.
Yeah.
So I have a 75% retention rate on that, and then I want 2 of the closers to get their own markets by the end of summertime.
Nice.
Performance is growing like crazy in 2026. So if there ever was a time to get that out, like now, it's like during the summertime.
Yeah, summer is the big. Yeah, but what I like about Windows is you can sell year round. Like even in the winter in Columbus, we're still selling. It's summertime. I'm looking forward to that. But the journey continues, man. Super excited for you. Going to Denver and all that stuff. Do you have any parting thoughts of your infinite wisdom you want to share with that before we? Dive deep?
Not many parting thoughts. I just think that I recognized through my experience the vehicle that is performance windows in order to get to the end all be all. And even Garrett said one of his first meetings that he came to Denver for, he obviously he's regional, he's making a ton of money doing that, but he's doing other things with that to where he has that purpose still.
Yep.
And he was like, does anybody here want to be working for performance windows their whole life? Like, yep, no hands. I don't. He's like, I certainly don't.
Yeah.
Because the point is to be in a vehicle to be able to do something that you're passionate about. And if you really are passionate about being a regional market owner for performance windows, then you can do that for the rest of your life and you'll still make life-changing money. For me, it's definitely, I have some things that I want to create down the line. I don't want to be working at performance windows or anywhere by the time I'm 40.
Yeah.
So definitely big goals for that. But it's entirely possible for anybody to come in and hit that.
Absolutely. Yeah, if you see it, you recognize it. I recognized it instantly. I came in for like 3 days. I was looking around, like you wouldn't really tell by the room when I came in because they just did a spinoff. They spun off like Christian Damesworth to the South office. Then he went to Seattle. But like when I was looking around, there really wasn't any, like the top guy in the room did like 4 the month before. And then I did like 3 in like 2 days and I made like $9,000. I was like, but I saw the vehicle right away just through Garrett. Like he came from Chili's making, over $1 million that year. And I was like, wow, this guy from Chili's can do it. I can do it. And you see the big check Fridays, you see it come in. So, well, awesome, man. Thanks for doing the podcast. Glad we got to do it. Looking forward to seeing big things from Denver, man. And we'll go ahead and wrap it there, man. So, peace out.